I'm telling you, that's why the ignorance is bliss thing is real. I know it's a dumb quote, but if you don't know better, you don't know you could do better. And in the moment, it makes life really, quote unquote, I won't say easy because you might still be going through something, but there's something to that.
There's so much freaking opportunity on the internet that I think it messes with us whenever we aren't doing things, right? So I think clarity can create pressure, but it also can relieve pressure when you actually know what things to stop worrying about.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1860, the downside of clarity. Who knew there was a downside of clarity? I didn't know. We were on a team call this Wednesday, and I think Alan said something along the lines of, how's everybody doing? It feels like there's kind of a heavy energy, and Alan's coaching people behind the scenes, so he knows how people are doing. And what we got to was everybody has the most clarity that I don't want to say that they've ever had because I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but let's just say, hypothetically, everybody on the team has more clarity than they ever have, but they also feel more pressure than they ever have. And that is the downside of clarity. The downside of clarity is there's a reason people say ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss because when you don't know better, you can't do better, and you don't really know that you're not doing better, so it doesn't hurt as bad. But if you have level 10 clarity, and you have determined that these are the 3 most important things I must do to accomplish X goal, and then you don't do them, that sucks. And the pressure to make sure that you don't drop the ball on those 3 things is massive. It's very, very, very heavy. I think clarity is amazing. I think clarity is a superpower. I think it's one of the most beneficial things to have in the world. But just like everything else, I think there is a downside that comes with it. And this was my introduction to that potential downside because I've never thought of that before. But if you think about it, you know that at the end of the day, you have to accomplish this thing, this thing, and this thing. This thing, this thing, and this thing. Every single day for the next 90 days. That is a heavy, heavy realization.
Huge shout out to my client, Linda, who has brought many awesome things into my world. One of them is a documentary called Fair Play that we did a relationship talks event on. It was awesome. Check it out. It's about heterosexual relationships and how there's a lot of invisible work that the female ends up most of the time doing. And we talked about relationships in the last episode, so I'm not going to go deep on this, Freestyle Friday, but Fair Play, invisible work, cognitive labor, check it out. It's awesome. Second thing Linda brought into my world was this awesome metaphor, super relevant to what you just said. And we talked about this on the team huddle, because everyone on the team huddle, because I coach the core team, I can authentically say this, has more clarity than they ever have on what we're now referring to as our glass balls. So Linda, you have helped us tremendously with this. Okay, so imagine you're juggling. You're a juggler. And you're juggling, 15 balls. Some of them are rubber.
Remember scarves?
I do way back in gym class, 8th grade.
Why was that ever in gym class? Let me ask you a question. You ever use that? You ever been at a party and decided to juggle some scarves?
Yes.
Not
scarves. Not scarves.
What are you juggling nowadays?
I'm actually decent.
How many? You can do 3?
3, yeah.
For how long?
I'm not more than that. Longer than you think.
Well, maybe I'm talented too.
I got
baseball
decent.
player.
I can go for a pretty long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
I actually gave a little juggling act for Emilia's family when we first started dating. They had me over for Christmas.
And that's why they didn't like you. He left that information out. Nobody would like.
I was in a Santa onesie juggling up a storm. That
There's
was their
problem.
first impression right there.
Yeah. Understandable.
Understandable. Yeah. No, you remember that Santa onesie? We went bowling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I break
back
that
when
thing
we used
out
to have. Back when we used to have fun, do stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Back when we used to do things. Yeah. Back when we used to do company bowling. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a juggler. All of us are, metaphorically. And we're all juggling, let's say, 10 to 12 balls, 15 balls, whatever. There's rubber balls, there's plastic balls, and there's glass balls. on the NLU team, NLU specifically, we each have our 3 glass balls that we cannot drop. You can drop the rubber ones, pick them back up later. Don't drop the glass balls, and that's the point, is the more clarity you have on the glass balls, the more pressure you have to not. Picture juggling, and you can't drop these, because if you do, they shatter. Again, metaphor. So mine are podcasting, training, coaching. I have them written on my whiteboard right over there. Kev?
Mine are NLPS, which is Next Level Podcast Solutions, NLSM, which is Next Level Social Media, and then podcasting. Well, NLPS has podcasting in it, and then it's community / other podcasts.
Nice. So those are and then you zoom into each of those, and they have their own priorities underneath it. Okay.
Yeah.
When you have clarity on the 3 most important priorities of, let's say, Q4, we like to think in 90-day increments. The Dreamliner's 90 days, achieve more in 90 days than you ever have before. That's what group coaching is about as well. So everyone out there watching or listening to this, what are your top 3 priorities? If you could only pick 3, this is the cool part about this. If you could only pick 3, what are the top 3 priorities for Q4, for the rest of the year, rest of 2024? I do this with all of my clients. I was just on with a client earlier. Shout out to Cole. His is fitness, YouTube. He has a YouTube channel. And I don't know the third one. Finance? Fitness, finance, and YouTube. One of my other clients is fitness, finance, and self-improvement. One of my other clients is blog, writing, editing books, writing books. She's a ghostwriter. So all my clients have their 3 glass balls for each quarter. And they change and they evolve, but it does require, and then we have a metric underneath each. But I asked Kevin this earlier before we did this episode. I said, do you think that's why people don't want to track metrics? Because it adds more pressure?
I think it's a piece of it. I also think tracking habits seems very constricting in the beginning, because it kind of is. But not as much as you think. If anything, I think it's redirecting more than constricting. But I don't know. I think there's something about looking at these 3 things and understanding the implications of how much you can accomplish or not accomplish if you do them. That. Because everything's a little bit heavier. When you're doing a bodybuilding show, every workout matters a little bit more.
Yeah.
When you're saving up for something, every dollar matters a little bit more.
Yep.
It just does. And that's because, okay, you want to buy a house. What are the 3 most important things? Probably lower your debt, save money, and whatever the third one is. Well, that's going to be the focus. So everything matters a little bit more in those buckets. If you have let's say you have a class reunion or a wedding or something coming up, you might feel more pressure in the fitness realm because the time is constricted. You know, well, yeah.
I don't want to should. I don't mean it like that. Sorry to interrupt you. If you're doing a marathon, you sign up for a marathon. The reason you sign up for maybe I'm weird with this. The reason you sign up for the marathon isn't to do the marathon. The reason you sign up for the marathon is to train for it. It creates more necessity.
I don't know if it works that way.
Why? Okay, I'll speak for myself and then see if this lands. When you sign up for a marathon, the whole reason to do that is to force yourself into the pressure of running every day. Is that?
I mean, I've never, nor will I ever. I
like when you did a bodybuilding show.
No, I signed up to win the show.
Why?
Thought it'd be cool. It was pretty
really
cool. It was terrible. No, I was in the gym. Somebody said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing a bodybuilding show?" I said, "You want me to get up on stage in my underwear?" Absolutely not. He said, "You'd be good at it." I said, "I'll think about it." and then
you thought about it, and you were like, "Yeah."
I thought about it. I messaged somebody. I had a coach later that week, I think, and then that coach sucked, and I went and got another one.
Well, one of the benefits I think of doing fitness shows is just more necessity. You're just under more pressure, so you end up doing much better. I mean, I was in way better shape when I was doing fitness shows. So were you.
Yeah, but
That's the
that
only reason I ever
pressure,
did them.
that pressure wasn't necessarily healthy.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It was very challenging.
Isn't there a correlation between, so clarity creates certainty, certainty creates action, so you gain momentum, and without clarity, you're kind of just drifting around, but maybe under less pressure. Is that your thesis?
It's to me, it's almost like, okay, if let's say Tara and I are going somewhere and there's traffic. We're going somewhere specific place, specific time. Traffic sucks. I hate it. It's taking me off of my goal. If we go out for a joyride, I genuinely don't care how much traffic there is. It doesn't matter. There is no clarity. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to go out. I'm just going to be out. There's something too when you have a certain place you're going to in your mind, everything has to align more. When you don't, there is no such thing as alignment anyway, because things don't have to align for you to get to the same place you are currently.
Yeah.
So it makes life, I think it makes life easier until eventually. When is eventually? I don't know. It depends. It depends on when you have to pay the piper.
Do you think, Kevin and I have played with this understanding over and over and over again over the last 7, almost 8 years. 2017, 3. Looking at, so yeah, it'll be 8 years next year.
In March or April. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it'll be 8 years next year. We've been podcasting. I was his first guest. He was my first guest. 2017, March. 2017. Yeah. Okay. When we first started working together, that was really hard on you from an anxiety perspective, because we were doing so much outside of your comfort zone. And so one of the things that I think is why, when I went to college and I did computer engineering, it was so much pressure all the time. And I had academic-based scholarships that I could not lose. Otherwise, I was going to not be able to go to school. It was $50,000 a year. And I came from, when my stepdad left, we didn't have that money. So I had to perform, otherwise I was screwed. I was constantly under pressure at all times because I never didn't have goals. So I said this to my therapist earlier, and I said that we were talking about, she said, well, what do you want to work on? And I said, I want to handle pressure with more grace because I've never been under this much responsibility. I said and for the listeners and viewers, I really want to make this clear. I'm going to make a point. I know this feels like it's about me. So 18-person team between Next Level Podcast Solutions and group coaching, that's 61 podcasters. And then I have 26 individual one-on-one clients, some of them twice a week. That doesn't include the community, all of that. And then you've got Emilia, my home, family. And I crunched the numbers because I'm a numbers person, and I think it came to 114 individuals. I said I am directly and or indirectly contributing to the success or failure of 114 individuals. And the weight is very heavy. I feel very heavy. On the team huddle, I actually teared up a bit thinking about it because I don't want to let anyone down, but I also don't want to. The idea here, going back to the metaphor with the juggler, is I'm juggling, let's say, 114 balls. What are the glass balls? Emilia, Kevin, Christina. And then after that, it's the core team. And then after that, it's my one-on-one clients. After that, it's group coaching clients. After that, it's the community, whatever. The point is it's so much freaking pressure. I can't just take a day off because I feel like it. And I can. The world's not going to end, Alan. You're not that important. But there's a lot of people counting on me to be at my best and to lead by example and to show up and to, right, okay. And that's what being an adult is. I think that's what being a leader is. It's a tremendous amount of pressure. So where am I going with all this? Number one, don't forget about the juggler, because if the juggler falls, all the balls fall. And we talked about that on the team huddle, where if you're not taking care of the juggler, and I told you I'm trying not to have my voice get messed up. I've been doing tea at night because I'm doing back-to-backs all day, podcasting, training, coaching. I've been trying to make sure that I don't get sick. I went 9 years without getting sick, and then I've gotten sick twice in the last freaking year. 2024 has been freaking brutal. Now, I'm also growing a ton. All right, so for the listener, for the viewer, for Kev, for anyone, okay, you're the juggler. What are the glass balls? How many balls are you willing to juggle? And are you good enough at juggling to actually do this? Or are you going to burn to the ground? And when you and I first started working together, if you weren't constantly under pressure, and to your point, you were just drifting around, and I was always under pressure, maybe I unintentionally, and I said this to my client earlier, I said, I feel like a lot of people would crack like an effing walnut under the pressure that I'm under right now. But I know my parts are going to rally, and I feel good. I feel like I'm ready to rock. Let's do this. And the team's rallying, and we're going to do whatever it takes. But I think that this is a really important thing to understand, because what is the right amount of pressure for each individual? If you're too little pressure, you're not going to grow. If it's too much, you're going to crack. And I think all of us are probably under more pressure than we realize, particularly with the noisy world we live in and how many connections we have and how much opportunity is out there. There's so much freaking opportunity on the internet that I think it messes with us whenever we aren't doing things, right? So I think clarity can create pressure, but it also can relieve pressure when you actually know what things to stop worrying about. Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes.
Yeah, it's hard because clarity shows you the keys to the results you want. And then it's up to you to do the right things with the clarity. But I just think it's a hard realization. That, okay, if I met someone on the street and I said, look, these are the 3 things you have to do. If you do them every day for the next 365 days, blank dream will come true. But you can't miss. You cannot miss once. You need 365 times 3 every day. Can't miss. That level of clarity might be awesome. That level of pressure, because when you're guaranteed something, you're losing it.
I know.
That's the thing. When you're guaranteed something, and you're not, right? I'm not saying that.
No,
if Alan and I do this,
cost,
this.
It's called opportunity cost. You kind of know the 10 pounds in 10 weeks. You knew you could do it, and so when you don't, you put it on yourself, and that's just so much pressure. Yeah.
When you know the result is possible. If that's the thing is, okay, and I think it's really deep, I do. All right, cool. These are the 3 things that you have to do to grow in the direction that you want to, if you want to grow in, and if you do them every day for a year, you'll get these results. Now go do them. I wonder if I would have liked that in the beginning. I wonder if I might have said, I don't know, put it back in the box. Just put it back in the box. I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. Because that's
Would you rather not achieve?
Now I'd rather achieve, but I don't know 7 years ago. If you'd sat me down and said, this is exactly what it's going to take.
Oh, can you imagine?
I don't know if I would have done it.
You had the gift of naivete.
I'm telling you, that's why people say ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss until eventually. I don't know. I just don't know when eventually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's easy to say,
ignorance is bliss if you're smoking cigarettes and don't know they cause lung cancer. And then 30 years later, when you get lung cancer, the bliss goes. But the whole time you were smoking those, it probably felt good to not worry about it, right?
Yeah. Quite an extreme example. I'm out here talking about goals and dreams. He's talking about darts. He brings in,
you call them darts. I don't know why you do.
Smoking darts. I used to watch this show, and please do not judge me for this, anybody. It's called Trailer Park Boys. It is very vulgar. It's one of the funniest shows ever of all time. But they're very Canadian, and they say smoking darts.
Is that a Canadian thing, smoking darts?
I don't know. It's a Trailer Park Boy thing.
For the Canadian listeners, I know we have many Canadian listeners. Reach out. Let us know if smoking darts is a Canadian thing or not.
Comment below.
And I'm not saying that we have a bunch of cigarette smokers that listen to the show, but maybe that's a thing up there. Smoking darts, smoking butts.
We do have a lot of people in Canada, for sure.
Facts.
That listen. Whether
I would
you
ask
smoke
you,
darts or not. Good.
Sometimes I feel like I am a terrible person to talk about certain stuff. We take everyone on the journey with us. I say that over and over and over again because I need to remind myself. A lot of people probably like, I don't need to hear that. Just tell me. I need to hear it. I've never not had goals.
Yeah, you're a very unique case.
So when you said go for a joyride, I don't know if I've ever done that.
You're missing out. It's the best.
It's the best. Emilie and I, we went leaf peeping. We went to the lake last weekend and then we went on a drive, a specific route that she loves. And yeah, that was a joyride, but it was a specific route.
Mm.
So it's not, there is no carefree wandering. I really don't know if, I think it's romanticized. I do.
I've done it. Is it optimal? That's a different story. When Taryn and I, remember, I told the story. We went to go see Twisters. We were sitting in the front row. It was like we were looking up at the side of a skyscraper. We couldn't. We had to leave.
Great movie.
Yeah. We literally just drove around. I was like, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, let's go get ice cream. I know a spot. Cool. We didn't have cash. It's cash only. Ice cream spots. Get it together. Why is it only cash only? What are we doing here? Let me tap my card. I want your product. I want some ice cream.
That's what I'm saying. What, your money's not good here?
My money's not good here. And then I said, what do you want to do? And Taryn said, let's just drive. And I was like, anywhere specific? And she said, like, no, let's just drive. So I just drove. And when I got to the end of a street, I was like, right or left? I'm going to go right. I had no idea where we were. And then eventually we were like, okay, cool. And then we put in home and we went home. That was there was no goal. We had the music on. We had the windows down. The sunroof was open. It was a beautiful summer night. It was the best. Loved it. Huge fan. One of my favorite dates ever. Genuinely.
Why?
Genuinely.
I'm the weirdo in this. I know that.
Because there's something freeing about nothingness. Just existing. I think you're just so used to that. Even me hearing you say the pressure is heavy on you surprises me because I genuinely didn't think it could ever happen. I couldn't imagine a world where you were under more pressure than you expected. You know what I mean? I've been that way since the beginning. Since 7 years ago, I've been under more pressure than I could handle. So it's like, when I watch UFC, I'm not thinking about shit. Nothing. I'm thinking about, this Taco Bell's great. Ooh, it's a great fight. I'm not really thinking about much else because I'm so under it the rest of the time. I need an escape. I need a positive escape.
Film is my escape.
Yeah, but you're watching inspiring movies so you can get back after it the next day.
Yeah.
And again, I love it. I'm not making it wrong.
Well, the Power of the Rings series, we've been enjoying that a lot. I think it's awesome. I think it's a slow build, so anyone out there who loves Lord of the Rings, it's a slow build. You got to work with it. But even that, I am analyzing the characters. I love narrative and
I think that's just you.
And all that stuff. Yeah.
I think that's just you. I think that there is an aspiration for carefree wandering.
I think it's romanticized, though. That I know is true.
What do you
carefree wandering? If you aspire to that, and you only do that, you are in trouble because your future will only get better by design. It won't get better by default.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think that you used to carefree wander what percentage of your life? Way back, before we met, before. Like, go to 24-year-old Kev.
Man, I'm the majority. More than 50% of the time. Yeah, I would say more than 50. Yeah, for sure. I was just going through it, just going through life. And it really... That's why...
Did you feel lost?
I had never felt found. The reason I started the podcast and named it Hyperconscious is because I was living unconsciously. That's the only reason I named it hyperconscious.
I
So
thought
that's
I
the
was
opposite
living
of
unconsciously too, though.
not like me, evidently.
Yeah.
I think the level that you feel you're living consciously is directly connected to how much consciousness you have. So if you don't, I'm telling you, that's why the ignorance is bliss thing is real. I know it's a dumb quote, but if you don't know better, you don't know you could do better.
Yeah.
And in the moment, it makes life really, quote unquote, I won't say easy because you might still be going through something, but there's something to that.
My therapist said to me earlier, she said, you're never really going to feel a sense of belonging that most people have because you're in the 0.05 percentile of intelligence. And if I crave belonging, I'm going to have a hard time getting it. I feel it with Emilia. I feel it with you to a pretty big extent. We're from the same town. We both didn't have dads. I mean, you know me at a very deep level, but it's not the same as it is with Emilia.
Well, it can't be.
Yeah.
It can't be.
I don't know. I've never carefreed wandered. I don't know if maybe I didn't have that luxury, or maybe my brain doesn't work that way. That's what I would say. My brain doesn't work that way.
I don't think you're supposed to. I feel like I belong more with Taryn. Like Taryn gets me more than you get me.
Really?
Yeah. Natural me. This isn't natural me is not get better every second of it. That's not me naturally. Like I've said that before. If it was up to me, I would be eating cheeseburgers right now. I would be. I know you say you would be too, but you wouldn't.
Yeah. I love a good cheeseburger. I can only wander for so long. And even that is aligned with my macros and my goals.
But I think it goes back to you've had clarity from such a young age. When I couldn't now. There is 0%.
It's almost like there's too much responsibility now because
there's too much awareness. I know what's possible.
There's too much awareness. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
But I never.
Can you
none
talk
of this
about
was
that?
possible.
I know I gotta go, but we got a little bit of time. I really want to hear your perspective on what. It's almost like self-belief and awareness creates responsibility. To whom my therapist Carol, she said this earlier. She said, "To whom much is given, much is required." She said, "You are under pressure because you are capable of it." She said, not no one else, but not a lot of people are capable of leading that many people. This is, I said, I know, I want to handle it better. My goal is not to, I'm going to be fine. Like I know I can handle it, but how do I handle it in a way where I'm centered and kind and empathetic? And that's the hard part. It's hard for me to empathize sometimes when it's like, listen, I'm going through 10 times more than you.
Yeah, but you're 10 times more capable.
That's the weird duality of the whole thing.
Right, potentially.
Yeah, again. Okay, can you share that?
Like, we got to go. You're going to be late.
I want to prioritize our show.
What is it, a podcast?
Yeah.
Shout out
I already emailed, reconfirmed, we're good. Just I want to make sure this lands.
Early apologies to whoever you are if you're listening that Alan's going to be late to your podcast recording today.
2 minutes.
All right, what was it? What are we looking for here?
I want to, just one question. It's, as someone who used to carefree wander a larger percentage of time than you do now, what's the benefits of I guess self-belief and awareness brings responsibility. What's your take on that? Because you've been on both ends of this, whereas I don't think I've ever not strategized.
I don't think it's responsibility. For me, I feel it as responsibility, but I think that's because of the team and we quite literally, people are relying upon us to put food on the table. So I feel that responsibility. I think from the rest of it, it feels like opportunity and it feels like certainty. When you have self-belief and you have self-awareness and you have certainty, it becomes an option. And when it's not an option, you don't overthink it. But when it is an option, if there's no pizza within 50 miles of me, it's not an option.
Yeah.
But if there's 7 pizza places, it now becomes a problem because I don't know which one I want to get.
Yeah.
And again, not a great example.
Metaphor. No, I think it's good because
you know what
that's
I mean?
A lot of cognitive labor.
I think it's just that. Well, I'm not going to get in any better shape than I'm in now, so what does it matter if I skip a workout? Versus I've seen myself magazine-worthy shape. I know I can get close. Kev, you can't skip the gym today. You got to go. You know better.
Yeah,
It's
that
just
resonates
that.
so deeply. That resonates so deeply. There is a duality in this. Self-belief. Remember when I used to say everyone wants self-belief, but when you believe in yourself at level 10, everything becomes an opportunity, and now you have to take responsibility for, and you have to say no to great things to go for the best thing. It's really challenging, and again, it's better than the alternative. But this was powerful.
Yeah, again, you never know where these are going to go. This was as of last night, this topic, this thought. So I'm grateful it went in the direction it did. All right, Next Level Nation, private Facebook group called Next Level Nation. Alan does free 30-minute sessions, business breakthrough sessions, but they're life in general, business, peak performance, habit tracking, all that. We'll have the links in the show notes. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.